Welcome back to the memes. In this video, we are going to be using science to figure out the perfect March Madness bracket. To do this, I'm going all the way back to NCAA Basketball 10, but this time with the March Madness Legacy mod. I will simulate every single match with this video game to determine the correct result of all 63 games. But before we begin, I do want to mention that this video is brought to you by HelloFresh, but we're going to hear from them later on. But now, let's begin the tournament. In the first round, as expected, all the 1 seeds win easily. But the Midwest bracket did have some surprises. Number 8 seed Iowa, they beat my alma mater, the number 9 seed Auburn Tigers. 5 seed Miami blows out 12 seed Drake. Indiana routs number 13 seed Kent State, but here's where it gets interesting. 11 seed from the play-in game, Mississippi State upsets 6 seed Iowa State, the first upset we've had so far in the tournament. 3 seed Xavier, they cruise the victory over 14 seed Kennesaw State. Texas A&M over Penn State, and 2 seed Texas crushes 15 seed Colgate. Moving over to the East bracket, 8 seed Memphis beat 9 seed FAU. Duke handles 12 seed Oral Roberts. Tennessee beats 13 seed Louisiana. Kentucky over Providence. Kansas State smooth sailing to victory over 14 seed Montana State. Michigan State beats 10 seed USC, and 2 seed Marquette defeats 15 seed Vermont. So no upsets in the East side. In the South bracket, we have Maryland over West Virginia, San Diego State over Charleston, Virginia over Furman, Creighton over NC State, Baylor over UCSB, but we do have an upset in this region. 10 seed Utah State, they stun 7 seed Missouri, and then finally Arizona over Princeton. 2 upsets so far in this tournament. Over to the final bracket in the first round, we have Arkansas over Illinois, St. Mary's over VCU, Connecticut over Iona, TCU over Arizona State, Gonzaga beats Grand Canyon, and then we have another upset. 7 seed Northwestern gets upset by 10 seed Boise State, and finally 2 seed UCLA beats 15 seed North Carolina Asheville. In the second round in the Midwest bracket, number 1 seed Houston over Iowa, Indiana over Miami, Xavier over Mississippi State, and Texas over Texas A&M. So no more upsets in this one. But in the East bracket, we get some surprises. Purdue over Memphis, Tennessee over Duke, and here it is. Number 6 seed Kentucky over 3 seed Kansas State, and 2 seed beats Michigan State. In the South bracket, Bama over Maryland, Virginia over San Diego State, Baylor over Creighton, Arizona over Utah State. So no more upsets in that bracket. But in the West bracket, we have number 1 Kansas over Arkansas, UConn over St. Mary's, Gonzaga over TCU, and UCLA over Boise. No upsets in that bracket either. But now we've made it to the Sweet 16. I've introduced some live gameplay. I didn't do this for the entire tournament because that's just way too much footage. But there's a ton of competitive games at this point. Starting in the Midwest bracket, we've got Houston versus Indiana. Now this game was very close. Houston had the lead most of the game, and then Indiana pushed ahead. But then Houston ties the game back up with just 1 minute left, thinking they have it. But no, Indiana, the underdog here, reclaims the lead with just 8 seconds left. And then a desperation 3 to tie it. Houston misses it. That means Indiana upsets the 1 seed right here. They're moving on to the Elite 8. The other game in this bracket, we have Texas versus Xavier. In Texas, they routed them from the beginning. Honestly, Texas looked really good in this game, so the 2 seed moving on to the Elite 8. In the South bracket, Bama versus Virginia. Virginia got a lead early. Bama was really trying to claw their way back, but Virginia holds on to win to upset the 1 seed here as well. The 2 seed Arizona versus 3 seed Baylor. This was a straightforward victory for Arizona here, but it is funny to see the animations after the fact. The Baylor players kicking the ground out of frustration. Tough scenes for that guy. In the East bracket, Purdue versus Tennessee. Purdue had the lead most of the game, but Tennessee was fighting their way back. They had a strong comeback, but Purdue was able to hold it off to get the victory. Purdue's going on to the Elite 8. Marquette looks to be a soft 2 seed here because Kentucky, they had the lead most of the game, and they held off the comeback with ease. So they finished the upset here. The 6 seed Kentucky still in here, moving on to the Elite 8. And finally, in the West bracket, Kansas, straightforward victory over Connecticut. And then 2 seed UCLA versus 3 seed Gonzaga. Gonzaga never lost the lead to UCLA, so they have an easy victory here. The 3 seed Gonzaga is moving on. Only 8 teams remain now. Arizona, Virginia, Texas, Indiana, Purdue, Kentucky, Kansas, and Gonzaga. Starting in the Midwest bracket, we got Texas versus Indiana. This game was very intense. It was coming down to the wire, and then Indiana hits an and 1 with 9 seconds left to send it to overtime. And then they were able to pull away in OT to grab the victory, upsetting 2 seed Texas. So a 4 seed Indiana, they're moving on to the Final Four. Good for them. In the South bracket, Arizona versus Virginia. This game was also epic. I don't know what it is with the Elite 8, but these teams, they turned it on and they provided some great entertainment value. It went into overtime, but then Arizona pulled away away in OT. So Arizona, you have just punched your ticket to the Final Four, and Virginia, you're going home. Purdue and Kentucky was a very close game all the way until the end, but Purdue, the Boilermakers, they're moving on to the Final Four, the first 1 seed to make it in this tournament. Speaking of another 1 seed, Kansas in the West bracket versus Gonzaga. This one was shocking to me. Gonzaga just absolutely blew out the Jayhawks. The 3 seed upsets the 1 seed here. Gonzaga, the last team to make it into the Final Four. In the Final Four, we got Purdue versus Indiana and Arizona versus Gonzaga. You know, for the Final Four, I expected some closer games, but both of these were blowouts. Purdue just slapped Indiana, and then Gonzaga gets the upset here, but they just slap Arizona right back. But that means we have our championship game lined up here. And you know, this was feeling like a pretty good bracket up until we got to this championship game. There was nothing I could have predicted for this final game, all right? You're gonna have to listen to this. So this game was epic, all right? Great championship game. We had a few comebacks. It was coming down to the wire here in the second half. So I'll set the stage. Purdue had a 2-point lead with just seconds left in the game. Gonzaga's going down. They pop it out to the corner. They shoot it up at the buzzer, and they nail a 3, a buzzer beater to win the national championship. That is absolutely insane way to end this tournament. But wait. We're not done yet. For whatever reason, the game just starts glitching out, all right? And it sends it to overtime. And you can see it on screen, like Gonzaga still has the lead, so this game should be over. They should be cutting down the nets, but the game says play on. They will not accept that result. So here we are in overtime. That doesn't really mean anything. And it's funny because Gonzaga actually starts to lose the lead and Purdue ends up winning the game, technically, even though Gonzaga already won the game. It's a little weird. So we see Purdue cutting down the nets and celebrating. So I don't know what to tell you. Is that like bad juju for this tournament? Is it all nullified? I can't tell you. But that's what happened in the video game. That's what the video game says, and that's our ending result. Now, if that's something difficult to chew on for that final result, here's something better to chew on from today's sponsor, HelloFresh. HelloFresh delivers fresh, wholesome ingredients straight to your door. What I like about HelloFresh is I can save time by not having to make those lengthy grocery store trips. And even more so these days, I prefer HelloFresh because I find myself saving a ton of money. And we all know groceries are extremely expensive right now. It's ridiculous. HelloFresh delivers pre-portioned ingredients, so you're going to have significantly less food waste, and in turn, save some more money. And I feel great after eating HelloFresh meals because not only are they delicious, but they have a lot of healthy options as well. And in our case, there are options for dietary restrictions, like celiac, so you know the food you're getting is safe and quality. And the convenience of knowing what I'll eat that day is a huge relief as well. As you can imagine, I am very busy running this YouTube channel, so getting that time back and taking away some of that stress, it's a huge blessing. I really do love HelloFresh. They've been sponsoring my channel for years now. Order some HelloFresh for yourself today by going to HelloFresh.com and using code NTE60 for 60% off plus free shipping. Once again, use code NTE60 at HelloFresh.com where you're going to get 60% off plus free shipping. Thanks again to HelloFresh for sponsoring this video. Anyways, that's pretty much all I got for this video. I want to say thank you guys so much for watching. You're all legends in my book, and as for me, I am Drew Morris, Big Ol' Drewski, not the expert. And I'll see all you guys in my next video. Peace.
Thank you to Patreon supporters Christian Tang, Jack Webb, Matt Woodruff, Anthony Uhas, Alex Mohar, Timbo Slice, Rosalie Jarecki, Devondre Hunter Martin, and Casey Knox.